Hey, Cardinal fans, we're back for another men's basketball edition of Heart of the Cardinal, learning more about our athletes here on campus. And up next in the Betsy M. Ross Sports Team Studios, Kody Clancy, returning to Ball State men's basketball. It's year 2. Kody, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
What's year 2 been like for you so far since you got back to campus?
It's been going well. We've been having some good practices. Last summer, we weren't able to practice in Worthing much. I think it was getting some work done. So being able to practice in there this summer has been going well. Weights have been going well too. I'm getting to know all the new guys.
How have you been able to get into the swing of things here in year 2 for you?
Yeah, I mean, well, when we went home for May, I think the biggest thing is just not, taking too much of a break, obviously getting shots up at home and, not falling behind. But I think the first week or 2 on campus was kind of everybody getting to know each other and getting the swing of things. But I think we're in week 4 or 5.
Yeah.
I think the guys are starting to gel together pretty well and see what we can do.
What did you learn about yourself from your first year of college basketball?
Well, a lot of people say, it's hard coming in, being a freshman. You come from, being the guy to being, a guy, right? And I think I just learned, that's, everybody, has a different path and everything that they do. And, you just got to, if you work hard, things are going to blossom, but you just can't expect anything to be handed to you.
Yeah, and when you talk about all those things, I find interesting what you said. You can't have the expectation to have everything just handed to you. Throughout the course of 12 months, how do you learn that on a day-to-day basis? What is that process like?
Yeah, well, I think it starts with the coaches just holding us accountable for everything. I think that's the biggest thing. If we, everyone's going to mess up sometime, so at some point. And, I think it's, give kudos to the coaches for, telling us and holding us accountable for those things. And, even our teammates holding us accountable, I think that goes in a long way.
You going into the year 2, how do you feel from a comfort standpoint to be able to jump in now? You're not the freshman, or you
Right.
said it's hard to make that adjustment. How comfortable are you now being like, okay, year 2, let's go?
From now until, or at this point, compared to the beginning of last summer, I feel like I'm just way more comfortable, way more, especially vocal. I feel like, we got 5 returners from last year's team coming back. So I think, me and some of the guys really got to step up and show kind of what we want here. Obviously we didn't portray that the best last year, but I think just the confidence part is what's bringing me up the most, and, just holding on to that.
You mentioned the 5 guys that are coming back. How much is that group banded together to bring in the new players as well to make sure that this goes exactly how you want it to go?
Yeah. Well, the coaches, they kind of, mentioned in our end of the year meetings that, we're going to have to kind of get these new guys going and, like I said, show them what we're trying to do here. And, with me, Mason, Joey, Jay, and Zane, I think it's, for us, it's kind of good news is it's kind of who we are with kind of, leading these guys and, just letting them know and let them get their feet in the water, so then they can, get some experience here at Ball State and get things going.
What have you been working on the last couple of months since the season ended?
Yeah, I mean, basically just repetition. I mean, that's what the coaches emphasized is just rep after rep after rep. Just keep trying to perfect your craft. The biggest thing for me that I'm trying to improve on is just, lateral movements. I think that's the biggest part of my game where I have a lot of room for improvement. Is just laterally, getting to the spot as quick as I can.
So quickness and movement.
Yes.
Okay. Favorite spot on campus for you now that you've been here for a while? You've been able to go outside of Worthing Arena. I know that's everybody's favorite, but
outside of Worthing Arena, it'd have to be Chava's. That place is probably the best burritos I've ever had.
That's fair.
So it's really good. I recommend it.
How about a spot on campus like Frog Baby, Bracken Library? I don't know, Beneficence. You gotta go to a spot.
I really don't go to the library that much. Probably not as much as I need to. But,
Coach Lewis, close your ears.
Yeah, but no, I mean, I actually do really love this building that we're in. I mean, it has a ton of stuff. I had tons of classes in this building this past year. No, but really, I mean, I find myself in if I'm not at the house or anything or the gym, I find myself at the village mainly, just wandering out there.
You mentioned your classes. How's that going through 1 year of being in college?
It's good. It was a little different than, high school classes with, traveling, different buildings. But I think I figured it out, along the way. I know that having our meetings with our academic advisors weekly really helped, and having study tables give us time to get that work done really helped me. So I'd say, here or schoolwork compared to high school, I mean, it's different, but it's not overwhelming.
What's been your favorite part of being a Ball State Cardinal?
Definitely, coming in, I was a little hesitant about, just, coming in here not knowing anybody, but really just the guys and how well we, came together and became buddies, and how quickly that kind of came for us last summer. I'm just grateful for those guys and, taking all of the new guys in.
I think you'd be considered a veteran now. Like,
I guess
with,
so.
5 returners, and you're one of the 5 coming back and coming into year 2. How does that sound?
It kind of takes me back to high school, because, once that freshman year in high school was over, that's kind of had the same deal. Getting the new guys in and trying to accomplish what we wanted to accomplish. But, yeah, I mean, kind of the same thing here. And, we talked with our strength coach, and he talked to us returning or veterans that we have to take charge, and we have to let these guys know what we're about.
How would you, Kody, describe your basketball journey, big picture wise, and how it's led it to where you are today?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, my whole life it's been going the way I've wanted it to go. I've had the opportunity in high school to accomplish some pretty amazing things, but I feel like if we can keep that trend alive, I think it'll be something special.
What would you say has been the biggest challenge of your basketball career up to this point?
Probably, last year, because when you're coming in here, I mean, you're not playing against, 17, 18-year-old kids. You're playing against grown men out there, and it's hard when, especially last year coming in, I was probably 175 pounds and playing against, like Peyton Sparks, and, and
you learn quick.
Yeah. And, I think that's something that I was talking to Coach Hart about, that's just putting on the extra weight, and, in the weight room, that was the biggest thing for me personally, that I feel like changed my game.
Yeah. And how much does that help being able, you talk about the quickness and the movement, adding the weight and the muscle plus the quickness of the movement, how does that make your game better? Yeah,
I mean, I wish I took the weight room and, nutrition part more serious in high school, because I don't think a lot of kids understand how important that is. But I think, Coach Hart's doing a great job. Jess, our trainer, she's doing a great job. They're all, working to get us feeling our best and performing our best. But, and I think we're meeting with the nutritionist tomorrow. I think we're on a grocery tour. So I think that'll be good to introduce these new guys to the nutritionist and what she thinks we should, be putting in our body. But I think it's the biggest thing for any new college basketball player coming in.
Kody, appreciate you joining us here on the show. Thank you so much, and we're excited to see you in year 2.
Yep, thank you.